Hey Star Trek fans, Dan Gunther here. Welcome to Dan's Disco Deep Dives, in which I take a look at the Easter eggs, hidden bits, canon connections, and theories for new episodes of Star Trek Discovery. This week, Season 2, Episode 10, The Red Angel. The Red Angel was written by Chris Silvestri and Anthony Marinville, who have both worked on Discovery since Season 1. Silvestri served as a writer's assistant, and Marinville has served as a researcher. The episode was directed by Hanali M. Culpepper. Bit of trivia, Culpepper has been tapped to direct the first two episodes of the still untitled upcoming Jean-Luc Picard series. The episode begins with a funeral for the late Lieutenant Commander Ariam, who gave her life for the mission in the previous episode. Star Trek has depicted a number of funeral services over the years, with the most famous probably being the service for Captain Spock, who gave his life to save the USS Enterprise in Star Trek II, The Wrath of Khan. Like that iconic funeral, a fellow crew member honors their fallen comrade by sending them off with music. In Spock's case, Scotty played Amazing Grace on the bagpipes, while in this episode, Saru sings a Kelpian lament for Ariam. Both officers were given a burial in space by ejecting their bodies in a photon torpedo tube. Before Ariam's funeral, the data she contained, including the AI infection, is erased. The technician who completes the procedure is actually a cameo appearance by James McKinnon, who heads the special effects, makeup, and prosthetics department. In one of the many truly great one-on-one scenes in this episode, Dr. Culber finally seeks out some professional help when he consults Admiral Cornwell. Cornwell used to be a practicing psychiatrist, which is certainly fortunate for Hugh. Given the sheer number of Klingon double agents, maternal issues, sibling rivalries, and evil double crossings from a parallel universe that Discovery has seen, it could really use a good ship's counselor. I've also seen online where people have criticized Discovery for bringing in Cornwell's counseling expertise from seemingly out of nowhere, but this is simply not the case. She was revealed to have been a therapist throughout her appearances in Season 1, most notably when she was accused of analyzing Lorca in the episode Lethe, and when she helped Ash Tyler with what was believed to be PTSD in Into the Forest I Go. It is revealed that Burnham's parents were involved in time travel experiments because of their hypothesis that time travel was responsible for numerous technological leaps throughout history, including examples on Earth. It turns out they were correct, as revealed in the Voyager two-parter Future's End, in which it is discovered that Earth's computer revolution was thanks to stolen 29th century Starfleet technology. Another example would be Scotty providing the formula for transparent aluminum to Dr. Nichols of Plexicorp in 1986, in Star Trek IV, The Voyage Home. Leland reveals that the Red Angel suit is actually Section 31 tech and is powered by something called a time crystal. I've seen online many people angered by the introduction of this element into the story, proclaiming it to be more in the realm of fantasy than science fiction. While they may have a point, time crystals were already established before this episode. In the first season episode, Magic to Make the Sanest Man Go Mad, Harry Mudd uses a time crystal to power his time loop device that allowed him to capture the USS Discovery. Speaking of the time crystal, Leland tells Burnham that he originally acquired it from the Orion Black Market on Kronos. This is the same Orion Market that the Discovery crew visited at the end of last season in Will You Take My Hand, and the one from which Leland recruited Georgiou into Section 31 in the bonus scene that CBS released after the end of Season 1. At one point in this episode, we briefly meet Ariam's replacement at the Spore Drive Ops station on the bridge. It is Lieutenant Nilson, whom we have seen in a few previous episodes this season. In a nice bit of poetry, Nilson is played by Sarah Middich, who played Ariam in Season 1, before the character was recast with Hannah Cheesman taking on the role for Season 2. As usual, here are a few of your comments from the most recent video, my review of The Red Angel, with some theories for what may be coming next in Star Trek Discovery. Zamboni Josiah says, my theory this week, perhaps Spock pressed the issue at phaser point because of his memories of events that haven't happened yet, resulting from his mind meld with the Red Angel. Was this meld with Michael from when she eventually takes up the mantle? Nonlinear time perception was what sent him around the twist, so maybe what he was witnessing on the planet jogged his memories of the future, or maybe they helped inform his formulation of the plan, hence why he was certain enough to draw his phaser and see it through. I like that theory. I think the idea that Spock had already seen this encounter through the eyes of the Red Angel would certainly account for his certainty when presented with the situation. So nice little bit of sleuthing there. I like that. I don't know that it's the case for sure, but it would certainly explain a few things. Adam Mardero says, Kurtzman has always said that Section 31 canon changes this season are a feature, not a bug, which implies they're going somewhere with it. The way I see it, Control's shenanigans are going to make it impossible for Starfleet Command to turn a blind eye to 31's tactics anymore. The season, of course, ends with the defeat of Control and Section 31 getting disbanded, but of course we longtime fans know they aren't dead. So my thinking is that during the final credits, the 3 red dots of Control kind of flicker in and out behind the final credits. The implication being that Control survives and goes deep undercover, rebuilding 31 as the clandestine, off-the-books organization we meet in Deep Space Nine, all the while deleting any remaining trace of its existence from the Federation archives. Maybe it sees itself as continuing its mission of threat assessment and protecting the Federation by doing so. I definitely like this theory, and like you said, Kurtzman has said that they are telling the story of what makes Section 31 become what it is in later series, so that could certainly be one way that it does it. If you have read the novel Star Trek Section 31 Control by David Mack, this is a tactic that the AI behind Control, Uri, actually does with Section 31, frequently disbanding it throughout its history and reforming it when conditions require it to be formed and make it necessary for the protection of the Federation. So this is definitely something that has come up in the novels. And if those novels are inspiration for what they're doing on Discovery, I could certainly see them going with this tactic. Agriperma writes, regarding the eye injection from the ship and Leland, seems they did not get rid of all the AI and he was injected with nanoprobes. Previews from next week's episode has a really quick shot of whatever he was injected with spreading through his arm. Reminds me of the Borg eye injection of Picard in the movie First Contact. Anyway, the creation of the Borg might be a residual effect of this battle between AI. In other words, Discovery might win the battle with AI, but inadvertently some of these nanoprobes stay in the past, ultimately creating the Borg. It's a long shot, and there are problems with this theory. For example, how the hell does it get to the Delta Quadrant? But anything is possible. One erratic wormhole and boom, you got the seeds of Borg in the Delta Quadrant. I've seen a few people online speculating that this storyline may have something to do with the Borg. I'm not completely convinced, but the visual similarities definitely are there, so you might absolutely be right about this. And, you know, they don't even have to explain exactly where this, you know, what might turn out to be the origin of the Borg ends up. If it just disappears through a wormhole and they're unable to trace where and when it might have taken it, that could be enough to kind of shroud its origins in mystery. And of course, we as the viewers would know, oh, this is the Borg, and they've gone, you know, probably back in time thousands of years and into the Delta Quadrant. So, interesting theory. It could be something that links to the larger Star Trek story, and that would be really cool. This week, I have not so much a theory, but more of a prediction. Based on what we see in the preview for next week's episode, I think we are going to get a pretty exposition-heavy episode in which the various time travel shenanigans of the Red Angel will be explained. However, because we don't know where in the history of the Red Angel she has been captured from, it's possible that a few of the temporal incursions haven't happened yet, at least from her perspective. Add in the fact that I still think that Michael Burnham will take up the mantle of the Red Angel at some point, and the story becomes that much harder to predict. Also, regarding Control's apparent attack on Leland, I agree with other commenters that he has been infected with something perhaps akin to nanites, which may relate to the Borg. However, I'm going to predict that this isn't Borg related, but I would be thrilled to be proven wrong. Thank you all for your comments and theories, and thanks to the Patreon supporters for their help. You can become a patron of Kertrats Productions by going to patreon.com/Kertrats. Even just $1 a month helps a lot. Thank you all so much for watching, liking, sharing, subscribing, and as always, I will see you in the next video. Until then,
what just happened?